Okay, good afternoon, bowling fans, and welcome to Suburban Bowlerama for the finals of the second 21 and under doubles event of the PJBT season, our 10th event of the 25th anniversary season. We are down to the final 4 teams in each division, which we'll be introducing in a moment, and then we'll begin our 3-game Baker format stepladder finals for the doubles teams. All right, good afternoon, bowling fans, and welcome to Suburban Bowlerama for the finals of the 10th event for the PJBT's 25th anniversary season, our 21 and under doubles event today. We have a 3-game Baker format stepladder finals to determine today's champions. Today's event sponsored by Bowler Max Pro Shop. All right, we're going to introduce our top 4 teams in each division. Starting with the scratch division, our number 4 seed team is Bryce Klein and Clay Thomas. In the first match, they'll be taking on our number 3 seeds, Brendan Weggert and Landon Freeman. The winner of that match will advance to the semifinal to take on our number 2 seeds, Severo Gordon and Ryan Schultz. And the winner of that match will take on our tournament leaders at plus 436 for 7 games. It's Cody Brunner and Blaze Denny. Bowling fans, let's have a nice hand for our 4 scratch teams. Cortez, PJUT. All right, now it is time to introduce our 4 handicap remaining finalist teams. Our number 4 seed is Lucas Romero and Brandon Derrimer. In the first match, they'll be taking on our number 3 seeds, Aaliyah Dent and Brenna McTighe. Winner of that match will advance to the semifinal to take on our number 2 seeds, Serena Miller and Alicia Hess. And the winner of that semifinal match will take on our tournament leaders at plus 364 for 7 games. It's Brody and Andy Hoffman. Bowling fans, let's have one more round of applause for our 4 handicap finalist teams for this afternoon's PJBT. All right, so we will begin our quarterfinal matches. Okay, so Brendan, Landon, Bryce, Clay. Matt, 23 balls. Yes. 3 balls. 3 balls on each line. And we should have Leah, Loretta, Lucas, Brandon. Let me get you turned on, and I'll get the names in. Okay? once again, bowling fans. Welcome to Suburban Bowlerama for the finals of today's PJBT. We're down to the final 4 teams in each division. We started the day with 41 teams, 82 bowlers, and we're down to the first of 3 games stepladder, Baker format for the doubles. For the remaining prizes, today's pattern was a recreational pattern, so we bowled on High Street today. Version 2 High Street was the pattern today, and one of the bowlers in the scratch division that you'll see in the next match, Ryan Schultz, had our only perfect game of the day of 300, taking down the 300 pot. So he took home $49 in the 300 pot today. For any of you out there, High Street is a longer distance pattern, 44 feet, but it is a 13-to-1 ratio with only 25 units of volume. So it's a modified shot compared to a house pattern. So scores were pretty decent today. We had some good scores out there, but only 1 honor score so far. But now we'll head into our quarterfinal matches to determine who will advance to the semifinal and final for today's event. All right, so we'll be introducing our quarterfinalists and get the match started. I'll be back with the play-by-play. our quarterfinal matches. On the scratch division side to your left, we have Brendan Weger and Landon Freeman taking on Bryce Klein and Clay Thomas. Brendan and Landon have elected to start the match on the left lane. They're going to go Landon first, Brendan second. Our other team is going to go Bryce first, Clay second. Okay? On the handicap side, to your right, we have number 3 seed, Aaliyah Dent and Brenna McTighe. Taking on number 4 seed, Lucas Romero and Brandon Derrimer. Aaliyah and Brenna have elected to start the match on the left lane, lane 27. They'll go in that order, Aaliyah and Brenna. And our other team will go in the order Lucas Brandon. And they have, Lucas and Brandon have the difference in handicap, which is 14 pins. All right, bowling fans, let's give a nice hand to our quarterfinalists. All right, bowling fans, we are ready to begin the quarterfinal matches for today's PJBT. If you have friends that haven't tuned in yet, tell them to jump on youtube.com, search PJBT Bowling Series to watch the live stream. Again, this is game 1 of 3 games for Baker format stepladder today. Landon Freeman leaves a 10 pin on the first shot of their match. And Aaliyah Dent comes in high, leaves a 6-10. Also, our message board is up and operational, so if anybody wants to chime in, wish their favorite bowler good luck as you're watching, feel free to jump in and make a comment. Aaliyah picks up her spare. Landon does the same. So again, we want to thank Bowler Max Pro Shop, Terry Miller, proprietor and Pro Shop owner here at Suburban Bowlerama, for sponsoring today's event. We're going to give out $2,000 in prize money in the prize list today, and then with side pots we should be around $2,500 for all the payouts today. Bryce Klein with the strike to start the match for their team. Now Clay Thomas up in the second. He gets a strike, so they start with a double. On the handicap side, Lucas Romero starts with 9 spare, and his partner Brandon Derrimer up in the second. Got that ball a little bit inside of target, leaves the 6-10, so he'll look to pick up the spare. Back on the stretch side. First shot for Brendan Weger. Comes in light, leaves the 2-4-8. So he'll try to pick that spare up. Brandon able to convert his spare. 18 in the first for them. So again, this is match number 1 of our 3-game Baker format stepladder finals. Pretty good shot there for Brenna, leaving a 7 pin. Brandon Wegert picks up his spare, so back-to-back spares to start the match for Wegert Freeman. Brenna picks up her spare, so 1 pin lead scratch. 13 is the difference with handicap through 2 frames. Landon misses just a little bit outside on that one. And he leaves the head pin. So he'll try and pick up the spare. Aaliyah Dent up in the third. Comes in a little high, leaves a 4-7. So she'll look to pick up the spare. Landon covers up the head pin. Aaliyah picks up her spare, barely.
Just hits the 4-pin. Keeps the board clean. Bryce Klein comes in high, leaving the baby split, the 310. For any non-bowling fans out there, the way to convert the 310 would be to hit the 3 lightly with the ball into the 10-pin. Lucas Romero with the first strike of the handicap match. He gets a strike in the 3rd. Bryce not able to convert. Good effort. 56 in the 3rd for Klein Thomas. Brendan comes in high, leaves the 6-pin. So he'll look to convert the spare. Clay Thomas with a big strike. So he follows up the open with a strike. Brendan picks up his spare, keeps the board clean. 58 in the 3rd for Romero Derimer. 82 with their handicap. Brenna with a strike in the 4th. 57 in the 3rd with a strike. Meanwhile, Brendan Weger goes light, 2-pin. So he'll look to pick up a spare. Aaliyah now up in the 5th. Pretty good shot, but it comes in a little bit high. Breaks up any split, leaves a 7-pin. Try to pick up the spare. Brendan gets the spare, so 55 in the 3rd. 4 spares in a row for Wegert Freeman. Aaliyah able to pick up her spare. 77 in the 4th for them. Now Landon Freeman up in the 5th, trying to get their first strike, and he does. First strike of the match for them, 75 in the 4th. Lucas Romero with a strike, crosses over the head pin, trips out a couple pins there, and gets the second strike of the match for them. Bryce Klein comes in a little bit high, 3-6-10. Brandon comes in high. He's fortunate to break up the split. Leaves the 4-7. So he'll try to pick up the spare. Bryce covers the spare. So 1 pin separating our scratch teams halfway through the match. Brandon picks up his spare. 98 in the 5th for Romero Derimer. 122 with their handicap. Strike for Clay Thomas. That's his 3rd straight strike of the match. And there's a strike for Brenna McTighe. 97 in the 5th for the girls. Cameron Wigger leaves a 10-pin. Aaliyah comes in high, 3-6-10. Brendan picks up the spare, so 95 in the 5th. Their team at the moment can max out at a score of 235. Leah picks up her spare, keeps the board clean. 117 in the 6th for Dent McTighe. Landed with a strike. 115 in the 6th for them. Lucas Romero steps up, misses the head pin to the left, 1-3-6-9. So he'll try to convert the spare. If he would convert a spare here, it would be a 7-pin match on the handicap side. 7-pin match with seven frames in the books. He is able to convert, so it's a 7-pin lead through 7 frames. Meanwhile, Bryce Klein with a strike in the 7th to keep the team of Klein Thomas in the lead. Thomas will try to get a strike here in the 8th and make it 3 in a row. And he does with a good shot. Brandon Derrimer comes in a little bit high, leaves the 4-pin. So both of our quarterfinal matches is going to come down to the final frames here. Brandon picks up his spare, 133 in the 7th with a spare, 157 with her handicap. Cameron Wegert with a strike in the 8th. So we start the foundation 9th, separated by 11 pins on the scratch side. Brenna McTighe with a strike in the 8th. And that basically evens the match. So we have a dead heat even match through 8 frames on the handicap side. Landon with a strike in the 9th, triple. So they can max out 235, keeping the pressure on Klein and Thomas. Aaliyah comes in high, leaves a 3-6-10 in the 9th. So she'll try to make a spare. They can max out at 207. Bryce Klein with a strike in the 9th. So now Clay Thomas will step up to start the 10th frame. He needs a double to shut out his opponent. Leah picks up her spare. So first shot of the 10th here for Clay Thomas. And he gets a strike. He needs one more to lock up the victory. On the handicap side, Lucas Romero comes in a little bit high, leaves the 310 baby split. So this will be an important spare for him. And he gets it. So big spare there for him. 6-pin lead now as they head into the 10th frame. And Clay Thomas with a strike. So that will lock them up in the 240s. And Bryce Klein and Clay Thomas will advance to the semifinal. Yeah, I keep saying Cameron. I'm sorry. I meant Brendan. Thank you. Sorry about that, everybody. So final score for Klein Thomas, 246. Wegert Freeman can strike out for 235. On the handicap side, Romero and Derrimer finish with 189, 203 with their handicap. So Brianna will have to get a double to advance her team. She gets the first strike. So she needs one more strike and 7 pins to lock up the match. Big shot here for Brenna. She needs the strike. And she leaves the 10-pin. And Lucas Romero and Brandon Derrimer will advance to the semifinal match. So final score on the handicap side is 203 to 197. So 2 exciting matches there. Scratch finishes with 246 to 224. And ironically, both of our number 4 seed teams advance in the quarterfinals. So we're going to give out a couple of awards, and then we'll move on to our semifinals. So stay tuned. You're watching the PJBT live on YouTube. We'll give out some awards. We'll be back with the semifinals, and I'll talk about the upcoming schedule.
Concludes our quarterfinal matches for today's PJBT, officially finishing in 4th place in the scratch division. The team receiving a $120 scholarship, certificate, and 4th place medals goes to Brendan Weber and Landon Freeman. Okay, and our 4th place finishing team in the handicap division, the team receiving a $140 scholarship, certificate, and 4th place medals goes to the team of Aaliyah Dent and Brenna McTighe. Okay, on to our semifinal matches.
Okay, PJBT fans, so just a reminder, the upcoming events on the PJBT schedule. We have a lot of exciting events leading up to the end of the calendar year for the PJBT. Next Sunday will be our fourth major of the season, and it's our only major of the year that's not a singles event. It is an adult junior. So an adult junior next Sunday on a challenge pattern, and we'll be at Bowlerama Limerick Bowl in Limerick, PA for the major starting at 10 a.m. on Sunday, November the 19th. So just a reminder, next week, top prize is up to $300 for the major in each division. And of course, we'll have all of our normal side pots for the youth and the adults. And we'll have the bonus payouts for the girls next Sunday at Limerick Bowl. So lots of action next Sunday. Then the following Sunday is Sunday, November the 26th. We'll be at Nellie Fox Bowl in Chambersburg for the girls only event 2 weeks from today on November 26th. Then the next PJBT will also be an adult junior on Sunday, December 3rd. That'll be at Clearview Lanes in Mount Joy, PA. The following Sunday, Sunday, December the 10th, we'll be back here in York at Colony Park Lanes North for another 21 and under doubles event. The following Sunday, which is December 17th, will be another girls only event. That'll be at Steel City Bowl and Brews in Bethlehem. And then we'll have our day after Christmas tournament, this year held on Tuesday, December 26th, sponsored by Rotogrip, and it'll be this year at Jordan Lanes in Whitehall, PA, and with special changed start time. Everybody, all divisions, will be bowling starting at 1 o'clock. 1 p.m. will be the start time for the Christmas tournament this year. And then to finish off the calendar year, on December 31, on Sunday, December 31, we have our New Year's Eve Day Classic at Strike Zone Alleys in Pottsville starting at 10 a.m. So make sure you pick up a copy of the PJBT schedule online and on our Facebook page, online at pjbtbowlingseries.com. All right, we're going to get our semifinals started.
Severo Gordon and Ryan Schultz. Taking on number 4 seed Bryce Klein and Clay Thomas. Severo and Ryan have elected to let their opponents, Bryce and Clay, start the match on lane 25. Bryce and Clay will go in that order. Severo and Ryan will go in that order. Okay? On the handicap side, we have number 2 seed Serena Miller and Alicia Hess taking on number 4 seed Lucas Romero and Brandon Garimer. Serena and Alicia have elected to start the match on lane 27, going in that order. And Lucas and Brandon are going to keep the same order. The difference in handicap is just 1 pin going to Miller Hess. All right? All right, bowling fans, let's have a nice hand for our semifinalists.
Okay, we've begun our semifinal matches. We start with Bryce Klein getting a 4-pin. And first look at Serena Miller. She leaves a 6-pin. So both 9 counts to start. Bryce picks up the spare. So does Alicia. I'm sorry, so does Serena. Severo Gordon with his first shot in the semifinal gets a strike. Lucas Romero, first shot for their team, comes up a little high, leaves a 4-pin. First shot here for Ryan Schultz. Ryan makes it a double for their team. Ryan was our perfect game bowler today with a perfect 300 game during game number 6 of qualifying, the first game of the eliminator rounds. Format today was 5 games for all of our teams. We went down to the top 8 teams in scratch, the top 10 teams in handicap. Then we started the eliminator round. We bowled 1 game. Scratch went from 8 teams to 6. Handicap went from 10 to 7. Then we bowled 1 more game to get the scratch down from 6 to 4 and to get handicap from 7 to 4. Today's finals. Brandon Garimer leaves a 4-pin and picks up the spare. So back-to-back spares for their team. Clay Thomas comes in high, leaving the Greek church. 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. It is a makeable spare if you can hit the 6-pin the right way, but he did not. He goes 5 miss. And that will be 20 in the second for their team. First shot for Alicia Hess. She gets a strike. So Bryce will try to pick up Clay here in the third. And he does with the first strike of the game for them. Okay, Serena Miller up on 27, frame 3. She crosses over and gets a strike. So spare and a double for Miller Hess. Really nice shot there for Severo Gordon with a strike in the third, 3 in a row for their team. Lucas Romero comes in a little bit high, leaves a 10-pin. He's going to try to make his spare, keep the board clean for his team. Again, our handicap match only separated by 1 pin. 1 pin difference. Ryan Schultz makes it 4 in a row for Gordon Schultz. Lucas not able to convert his spare. 47 in the third for their team. Brandon will step up here in the fourth. Brendan, I should say. Brendan, sorry. Try to get my names right here today. Brendan comes in light. 2-4-5. Try to pick up the spare. Clay with a strike in the fourth. So good recovery shot after the split. Double for their team. Brendan picks up his spare. And Bryce Klein makes it 3 in a row. So their team trying to, after the spare open, they have 3 in a row to jump back on. Alicia with a good shot there, leaving the 10 pin. So she'll try to convert her spare, which would give their team about a 20 pin lead. Severo Gordon up in the fifth. He makes it 5 in a row for Gordon Schultz. And Alicia not happy with that spare shot, as halfway down the lane she kind of knew it was going to hook. So she didn't convert. 77 in the fourth, 78 with the 1 pin handicap. Ryan Schultz comes in light, leaves a 2 pin, a wiggler. Serena Miller, another crossover strike. So she's got that lane down with the crossover strike. That's 2 of them in a row. Good recovery shot there for her partner. One of the great parts of the doubles event and the Baker format finals, trying to pick up your partner. Lucas Romero with a strike in the fifth. So 11 pins separate our 2 handicap teams. Ryan Schultz picks up the spare. Brendan gets inside target, leaves a 3-6. So he'll try to pick up the spare. Halfway through the semifinal in scratch. Clay with another strike, 4 in a row for them. They can shoot max 260 at the moment. Their opponents can shoot 279, so still a match over there. Brendan not able to convert his spare. 95 in the sixth. Second open of the game for Romero Derimer. Bryce makes it 5 in a row to keep the pressure on. Alicia Hess comes in a little bit high, leaves a 6-10. So she'll try to convert the spare. Which would give them a 13-pin lead. Severo in the seventh. Comes in high. Leaves an interesting lead. It's the 3-4-7. So it'd be easy to say you want to go for the count and get 2. But it is a makeable spare. He can slide the 3-pin into the 4 and 7. And it's kind of an important spare, because if he could spare this, that would keep them in the lead of the match. Serena Miller crosses over, leaves the 9-pin. Nope, Severo elected to get the 2. So 165 in the seventh. See if that comes back to haunt them at all, as now they can max out at 255, but they cannot shut out their opponents at 260 at the moment. So Ryan will try to pick him up here as Serena Miller picks up her spare. Ryan Schultz with a strike, keep them on that 255 pace. Lucas Romero comes in high, 3-4-6-7. So he will try to slide the 3-pin over, similar to the 3-4-7 we just saw. Clay Thomas in the 8th, big shot here, leaves a 10-pin. Lucas gave it a good effort, but gets 2. 103 in the 7th for them. They can max out at 193, while their opponents can still be in the 200s. So big shot here for Brendan in the 8th, and he misses wide of target. Leaves the 159, so he'll try to make a spare here. Thomas picks up his spare, and that spare puts Gordon and Schultz back in the lead as they head into the foundation 9th frame. Brendan gets 2, and unfortunately for them, that's 3 opens now in a row. 112 in the 8th. Their max score can only be 172. Bryce Klein with a strike in the 9th. So now Gordon and Schultz can step up and shut their opponents out. Alicia Hess with a strike in the 8th. So Miller and Hess got to pretty much keep the ball in the lane, and they can advance. Severo Gordon comes in light, 1, 2, 4, 10. So that's an interesting leave. Another crossover strike for Serena Miller. She's got that lane lined up. Big double there, and that should pretty much lock up the handicap match. Severo gets 3, leaves the head pin, so 193 in the 9th for them. So max score now is 223 for Gordon and Schultz. Klein and Thomas actually just need to step up in the 10th. They could force a strike on the first ball if Schultz would strike out. He gets the first. Lucas Romero with a strike in the 9th. Brendan Derrimer first ball of the 10th with a strike. Second ball of the 10th, inside target, but Brendan takes it with the crossover strike. Ryan Schultz with a strike, second ball of the 10th. So their team will be in the 220s. It all comes down to the first ball in the 10th for Clay Thomas. He will force Clay to strike on the first ball in the 10th. Brendan Derrimer to finish it up. 9 count, 171 for Romero Derrimer. $223 for Gordon Schultz. First ball in the 10th for Clay Thomas. Must strike to advance. And he gets it. Big strike there. And that will put them in the 220s. And they should be able to advance to the title match. And that spare Miller and Hess will advance to the title match. So final score on the handicap side, it'll be 205 to 171. Miller Hess defeats Romero and Derrimer. On the scratch side, it will be Klein and Thomas advancing to the title match, taking down the number 2 seeds Gordon, and Schultz. Final score on the scratch side will be 236 to 223. So some exciting matches there. All right, so we're going to give out some awards, and then we're going to move on to our title matches. So stay tuned. You're watching the PJBT live on YouTube. We'll be right back with the title matches.
Okay, bowling fans, that concludes our semifinal matches for today's PJBT. Finishing in third place in the scratch division, the team receiving a $160 scholarship, certificate, and medals goes to Severo Gordon and Ryan Schultz. Okay, and our third place finishers in the handicap division, the team receiving a $170 scholarship, certificate, and third place medals goes to Lucas Romero and Brendan Derrimer. All right, on to our title matches.
One of them wins then.
Okay, we're down to our title matches for today's PJBT. Our 1 and 4 seeds in the handicap division, and our 1 and 2 seeds in the handicap division. So again, we're setting up for the title match here, PJBT, on the High Street pattern today. So it's time to introduce our finalists.
Suburban Bowlerama in York, sponsored by Bowlerama's Pro Shop. On the scratch side, we have top seed Cody Brunner and Blaze Denny taking on number 4 seed Bryce Klein and Clay Thomas. Cody and Blaze have elected to go in that order and start the match on lane 25. Bryce and Clay will also keep the same order. Okay? On the handicap side, we have top seed Brody and Andy Hoffman taking on number 2 seed Serena Miller and Alicia Hess. Brody and Andy have elected to start the match on lane 27, going in that order, Brody and then Andy. And Serena and Alicia will also keep the same order. And the difference in handicap is just 4 pins to the Hoffmans. All right, bowling fans, let's have a nice hand for our title matches for today's PJBT.
Okay, bowling fans, it is time to begin our title matches for today. Starting us off is Brody Hoffman. He gets a 7 count. Cody Brunner with the first shot on the scratch side. Messenger 10 strike. Bryce Klein with the first shot. That's a strike. Brody gets 2. So 9 in the first. 13 with the handicap. So after Bryce starts with a strike, Clay's up in the second. Once again, this is the title match for today's PJBT. Clay comes in high, leaves a 4 pin. And a strike for Serena Miller. She starts the match with a strike. Okay, Betty, we apologize if you can't see the scoreboard. It could be from the lighting a little bit. I would advise if you have a device to turn it sideways, make sure the screen is as big as possible. If you're having trouble seeing it, we'll certainly give you the scores. Klein picks up his spare, 20 in the first for their team. Alicia Hess leaves a 7 pin, so with a spare she would get her team 20 in the first. And she does. Picks up the spare. 20 in the first for Miller Hess. Now first shot of the finals for Blaze Denny. He goes 10 back. So him and Cody start with a double in the title match. Again, we got a bunch of viewers out there watching today. This is the title match for today's PJBT. So make sure you tell your friends to tune in. See who takes home the victory. Andy Hoffman, first ball of the title match. He gets a strike. Cody Brunner leaving a 10 pin. And there's a strike for Brody Hoffman. So a double for the Hoffmans. Cody picks up the spare, 49 in the second for their team. There's a strike for Serena Miller. 40 in the second for the girls. Bryce Klein goes 10 back. 40 in the second for them. In theory, 1 pin separate our 2 scratch teams through for 3 frames. And there's a strike for Alicia Hess. So that is 2 in a row for the girls. Miller Hess. Clay Thomas with a high flush strike. So I know it's early in the scratch match, but the scores have been high today. 280 max score for Klein Thomas at the moment. 279 max score for Brunner Denny. Andy Hoffman up in the 4th, looking for 3 in a row for their team. And he gets it with a strike. So we've got quite a match on both sides here. Blaze Denny with a strike. Keeps the 279 pace going for their team. Brody Hoffman gets that one a little bit inside a target. Crosses over, leaves the 3-9. So he'll try to pick up the spare. Again, you're watching the title match for today, PJBT. Down in York, PA. At Suburban Bowlerama. Sponsored by Bowler Max Pro Shops. Started the day with 41 teams, 82 bowlers, 18 teams in scratch, 23 teams in handicap. Down to our final 2 teams here. Cody Brunner with a strike in the 5th. Spare for Brody Hoffman. Bryce Klein up in the 5th, got it inside target. Crosses over, leaves the 9 pin. On the handicap side, Serena Miller comes in high, leaves a 3-6-10. She was fortunate to break up the split. Bryce picks up the spare. So now their team can max out at 259. Spare for Serena. So both teams with 87 in the 4th scratch. So we have a tie in scratch-wise for the handicap side. So right now the difference just the 4 pins in the handicap. Alicia gets this ball inside target. Not able to break up the split. She leaves the 5-10. Super tricky spare for a right-handed bowler. Only way to try to get this one is to tap the 5 pin on the left, try to get it to slide into the 10. Meanwhile, Clay Thomas leaves the 4-7, picks up his spare. So back-to-back spares for Klein and Thomas. They now can max out at 247. Alicia gives it an effort. No pins there. 113 in the 6th for them. Now Blaze Denny steps up in the 6th. Try to make it 3 in a row. Comes in high, leaves a 6 pin. So he'll try to convert the spare. Andy Hoffman with a strike in the 6th. Andy's perfect. Threw 3 shots in his game. Blaze picks up his spare, so 118 in the 5th. So right now, 11 pins separate our 2 scratch teams with 4 frames to go. Brody steps up, leaves a 7 pin. So he'll try to pick up the spare. Slight lead right now for the Hoffmans, as we are in frame 7. Cody Brunner with a strike. So Brunner Denny can max at 258. Their opponents can shoot 247. Brody not able to convert the spare, so 135 in the 7th. Bryce Klein with a strike in the 7th for their team to maintain the 11-pin deficit. And a strike for Serena Miller. So a big strike for them there in the 7th. To pick up a little bit of ground. Clay Thomas. Perfect shot, leaves a solid 8-pin. Oof. That's a tough one. Alicia comes in high, leaves a 6-10. So she'll try to convert the spare. With a spare, their team would only trail by 6. Clay picks up the spare. Their team can now max out at 227. Alicia picks up the spare. So 133 in the 7th with a spare. Their opponents with 139 flat in the 7th. So strike here from Andy Hoffman would put them 6 pins ahead. And he gets it. High flush strike. Meanwhile, Blaze Denny with a strike in the 8th. Big double for their team. They are now in the driver's seat as we head into the foundation 9th frame. Brody Hoffman in the 9th. Comes up high, leaves a 6-pin. Both matches going to come down to the late frames here. Cody Brunner with a strike in the 9th. So now Klein and Thomas pretty much have to strike out to force their opponents to show up in the 10th frame. As tournament leaders, Cody Brunner and Blaze Denny in the driver's seat. Brody picks up his spare, so 155 in the 8th. They can max out at 209 with their handicap. However, the other team, Miller and Hess, they can strike out for 213. So the handicap match still up for grabs. Good shot there for Serena Miller. Comes in light, 7-pin. So she'll look to pick up the spare. Clay Thomas, after a strike from Bryce in the 9th, Clay leaves a 4-pin. So they will be in the 2-0s. And Blaze Denny will pretty much have to just keep the ball in the lane to bring home the title for him and Cody. Serena not able to convert her spare, so 161 in the 9th. So their max score now is 191. Blaze Denny locks up the title with a strike. So Cody Brunner and Blaze Denny will be your Scratch Division champions. Final score for Bryce Klein and Clay Thomas is 207. Alicia picks up her spare, so she can strike to put her team at 181. And Andy Hoffman will pretty much just have to show up in the 10th frame to lock up the match now for the Hoffmans. Final ball for 9 count for Blaze Denny. A final score on the scratch side, a winning victory by 50, 257 to 207 for Brunner and Denny. Just a reminder, we don't have final interviews in our new format. So we will give out the final awards, and then I'll come back to wrap up the show once we get pictures. And we'll remind you of what's coming up on the PJBT Tour. Andy Hoffman goes light, or high rather, 2-4, but already their match locked up. So Brody and Andy Hoffman will be your handicap division champions. Andy finishes with a strike. Final score 197 to 179 on the handicap side for the Hoffmans to take home the title. All right. Going to give out some final awards and we'll wrap up the show. Stay tuned. You're watching the PJBT live on YouTube. Time to give out our final hardware of the day.
Okay, bowling fans, that concludes today's PJBT from Suburban Bowlerama here in York, PA. Our 21 and under doubles event, sponsored by Bowler Max Pro Shops. Our runner-up finishers in the scratch division, the team receiving a $200 scholarship certificate and the runner-up medals goes to Bryce Klein and Clay Thomas. Our runner-up finishers in the handicap division, the team receiving a $200 scholarship and the runner-up medals goes to the team of Serena Miller and Alicia Hess. division. The team winning a $400 scholarship, $200 per bowler, and the first place acrylic plaques for the title. Those are the team of Brody and Andy Hoffman. All right, we'll get a picture with our winners, and then I'll wrap up the show. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday afternoon for the next PJBT event, the finals of our 4th major adult junior event next Sunday, November the 19th, from Bolero Limerick Bowl in Limerick, PA. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next Sunday. All right. Would you mind? All right.
All right, PJBT fans, that's going to do it for our PJBT action today here in York. Congratulations to our winners. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday afternoon for the finals of the adult junior event. We will be at Bolero Limerick Bowl in Limerick, PA for the 4th major of the PJBT season. Extra payouts, top girls bonus payouts next Sunday from Limerick Bowl. So make sure you sign up online by midnight tonight to get the discount entry fee. Discount entry fee ends at midnight tonight, so sign your team up online at pjbtbowlingseries.com. All right, have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you next Sunday from